something that I've been wrestling with and investigating personally, probably for the last 15 years, basically really since I moved away from Calgary, is falling into the ocean of all the different schools of improv or impro. Johnstone, Delaclose, Annoyance, IO, UCB, and I'm sure there's a ton I'm not mentioning, and my apologies. The notion that on the surface that we contradict each other, that we don't agree with each other. Maybe we're not that way on the surface with each other at festivals, but when you kind of have a couple beers and you get into conversation, then sometimes a little bit of, God, I hate theater sports, or like, oh, I hate comedy sports, or whatever. We've all had these conversations. I'm more interested in what we have in common. And the more that I meet people from around the world, and the more I peel back the layers and play with other people and talk about what's really important to you here, what gives me hope and more inspiration, is we have more in common. We have more in common than we think we do. On the surface, we play the games differently, our formats are different, etc. But I continue to meet people around the world who I just click with, and we get on stage. I go, oh, you call it this, you say it this, you describe it this way. I come from a narrative background, you come from what's the game here, what's the psychology, whatever vocabulary. Good improv is good improv is good improv. Just like Shakespeare is not the definition of acting. It's a place that you can push acting through, but acting is something else. And acting is something we can put in any kind of play, a modern play, a more traditional play, you name it, acting. We have different schools of acting, but at the end of the day, what are we trying to do? We're trying to tell stories. We're trying to emulate authentic human behavior. Sometimes we're trying to be presentational for whatever effect. All of those things hold true in improvisation, I think. So the thinking that we're further apart than we actually are always makes me a little bit sad and frustrated, but I think that if we dig down, that we can get past that.